Hey, you guys, welcome to another amazing show. And I would like to take the opportunity to introduce you guys to somebody who you already know. I've been following his career since I was a young man. Not only is he amazing with vocals, he is just a genuine person. Even before we even reached out to him, we heard from people just saying just how humble and down to earth he is. So, Frankie J, we'd like to welcome you to the show, brother. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Joseph. First of all, man, thank you for that awesome introduction, man. I'm honored to be here with you, and thanks again, for allowing me to be here and use your platform to get to my fans, to get to the world, to get to the universe, and yeah, just feeling great, feeling good, feeling positive, staying hopeful. Uh,
Yes, yes.
because we're going through it right now, man. But we've got to stay hopeful. But yeah.
That's a great, that's I like that that word that you used, the word hope, because I think that's really what people are looking for right now with everything going on. I guess my question to you, Frankie, is like with everything going on in the world right now, how do you stay positive?
I try to, clear my mind every day, every morning when I wake up. I thank God for the ability, first and foremost, to wake up and
Yes,
and start the day. Because man, it's such a. I think it's important to do that every morning. That right there kind of kicks off the day, and it makes me realize how blessed I am to be able just to do that. First and foremost, and
absolutely.
then just try to stay positive throughout the day. I mean, I know a lot of people especially in the entertainment world are not doing so much, so we try to keep our minds busy by doing, as like for me, I like being in the studio, I like writing, I like producing. I'm on the phone, going through emails, going through text messages, and just trying to keep myself going, motivated, energized.
Absolutely.
So that's how I kind of keep myself going. And also just to be home and spending a lot more time with my family is kind of what has given me a lot more strength, to be honest
Absolutely.
with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. I like how you're taking an opportunity to just kind of slow down, self-reflect, and then spend time with those who love you the most. You know what I mean? Uh,
Indeed. Indeed. For real. That's it. I mean, I think it's important to kind of get a cup of that love. You know what I mean? Every
Absolutely.
day, every morning, and be able to share some more time with your family. Because when the world was a different, it was in a different way. I mean, we were constantly on the go, constantly traveling. So you don't really spend too much time with the family. But right now, uh, you know, it's kind of cool in a way to be able to do that, and it's different, but we're coping. We're coping with.
Absolutely, absolutely, and with that same that proper mindset that you have of just staying positive and keep going and utilizing the time for family. I think that's really a positive message out there that that other people can look at and be like, you know what, yeah, let me take advantage of what I have. Wake up and say, hey, this is a great day to be alive, kind of thing. You
Amen.
know,
Yeah, that's one thing that's kept me going, like analyzing my life and saying, wow, even though we're going through the craziness of what's happening out there in the world, I sit back and reflect. You said reflect, which is an
yes, sir.
important, is reflect on the things that you are blessed with, things that you do have, and take advantage of that, of all those things that God has given us. So it's definitely something to really think about, right now that we're all home and doing this. These kinds of things that I'm doing now with you, like interviews and stuff like that, is also, it keeps me going. So thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely, brother. I have some questions for you because I felt like as I prepared for this interview, I
Yeah.
learned so much more about you than I knew previously. And even though I've been following you for so many years, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Oh wow, this is really cool. So I'm gonna ask you some of these things, and I think this will be really cool for some of your fans out there. A lot of them who probably know all this stuff already. But back in '99, you were working with Selena's family.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got affiliated with the group Cumbia Kings and what that was like?
Well, I was probably about 20 years old, working here in San Diego, doing the regular job thing. Always had, the dream in the back of my mind of becoming a musician, an artist, a singer. Um, and I always had that thrive, as a kid. And one day I decided to go to Texas. I was invited actually through a friend of mine, by a friend of mine, and got to experience the city of Austin, Texas. This was I was probably about 19 years old, and experienced a little bit of Texas. Got to meet some people out there, and people that were involved in the music, and came back to San Diego, and it kind of gave me this whole like energy of like, I want to do this music thing. But of course I had to do what I had to do. First and foremost, went to school, had to graduate high school, went to college probably for like maybe a year, started working regular jobs, and then within the time that I was doing that, I got a call by a friend of mine from Austin named John Paul Ramirez. And, he goes, hey, you know, uh, s- AB Quintanilla is looking for you. This is Selena's brother. And he was like, AB Quintanilla is looking for you, not necessarily looking for you, but looking for someone that is a singer, male, can sing both English and Spanish, and would like to join this group called the Cumbia Kings. And at the time, I already knew of the group. I already knew, obviously, of Selena. My sisters were humongous fans, and I was also a big fan of Selena. And this was after the fact. This was 4 years after her death, you know.
Right.
And I kind of was intrigued by the question, and and so I was like, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll give it a try, and see what happens. And so then I want to say the next day, or not even the next day, a few hours after that, um, uh, I get this call from Amy, and we started talking, kind of trying to figure out what he wanted to do with the group. And first, he wanted to know what kind of music I liked, and of course, I was like telling him everything, from R&B to like pop
Right.
music to Spanish to like oldies to everything, right?
Right.
So then, he decides to get his business partner on the line. So now we're on three-way, and his business partner, his name was Cruz Martinez, who was also part of the group. And they said, we would love for you to join us. It would be awesome, for you to be a part of our group. But we would first like to hear you sing. And so it was kind of like an
Right.
interview audition type of thing on the phone. And I was kind of hit by like unexpectedly to do that. So, but I was, like I said, full of energy, and I was like this young kid trying to,
Do
show what I
it.
can do. And so then they asked me like, what's your favorite song? But right now, what's your favorite song? And back then, this was 99. There was a real popular song at the time by a group called As Yet. I don't know if you remember As Yet.
I do.
Song called Last Night.
I remember.
My favorites. One of my all-time favorites of As Yet. And I think it was written by Babyface and L.A. Reid, if I'm not mistaken. And so then I went ahead and sang a little piece of that, and they were like, "You're in. We're flying you out. Are you ready to go?" And I was like, I got a job. I have to get my 2 weeks notice." And they were like, "Well, you better hurry up because we need you on board, and we would love to have you as part of our family." So it was like a dream come true, man. And
Wow.
the rest is history. Right after that, I joined the band. I was so thankful that, that my boss at the time, his name is Scott, just let me go. He was like, "What do you mean you giving me your 2 weeks notice? Get the hell out of here, man. Go pursue your dream." And I looked at him like, I thought you were going to be mad at me. But, imagine you're 20 years old. Your dream is to become a musician, an artist, a singer. And here you are getting the opportunity of a lifetime at such a young age. And I'm working a regular job, making 350 every 400 every 2 weeks. At that
Right.
time I was making okay money, but still my goal was to do the music thing. So I was able to leave my job within hours. He didn't even give me a notice, and they flew me out to Corpus Christi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
And
that's
then
awesome. What a
yeah.
great story, man. And like as you were working with them, like I mean, there's probably so many takeaways from that experience that you have, and it's impossible to cover in like in one show. But if you can take, if you can say you took away one thing that was very profound from that experience, what would it be?
Oh man.
I know it's tough.
That's a tough question. But you know what? I think I would say probably the experience.
Yeah.
The experience of, because I didn't know anything about the industry. I didn't know anything about the business. I didn't know anything about um the incredible feeling of being in front of thousands and thousands of people, crowds. I mean, you could see, uh, every show that we would do, it was multitudes of people, like of crowds, and being able to perform um, Spanish music and doing cumbia, and also even bringing in a little bit of pop with a little bit of R&B twist to some of our records. I was writing a lot of English records for our group. I've got the experience of writing as well, with a platinum group, and I'd never experienced that. So I think the experience for me was probably the best thing that I took from being in this group over for 4 years, and exploring, um, the industry, and getting to know the industry and the business of music. It wasn't just the popularity or the fame. There was more to it, and I had no idea.
Wow.
So yeah, it taught me a lot about that.
Wow. Thanks you for sharing that. I really appreciate that, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, you're welcome.
And then not long after that, you landed your own record deal and you started working with the Columbia Records, was it?
I got signed to Columbia Records, Sony Records, in 2003. So I was with the group, the Cumbia Kings, from 99 all the way to 2003.
Mhm.
And within the last month or two that I was with the band, I started to use some of the money that I was making, to buy keyboards, a computer, studio gear. I was getting more intrigued by the production side. And I was doing a lot of writing for the group, but I wasn't doing much of the production. I was very intrigued on how they were working on the production. So I started buying gear, and I wrote a few songs, not knowing what was going to happen with these songs. I was thinking about doing the solo thing. I was just writing and kind of being creative on my own. And then that's when a song called "Don't Want to Try" was born, which was, it ended up being my first single, and the song that kind of took me out of the group and landed my own deal. And I didn't know what was going to happen. So
Right.
when I left the group, that was the song that kind of catapulted me into the the single Thrive,
Right.
and so yeah, that's what got me signed to Sony Columbia, and I got my deal in 2003. Was signed by Donnie Einer at the time, who was the president of Sony Columbia. Charlie Walk, who was the GM, he was the general manager of Columbia at the time. So I worked with some pretty legendary people, man. And I remember leaving the group. There was a few record labels that wanted to sign me, including Tommy Mottola.
Mhm.
Tommy
Wow.
Mottola was one of the executives. He had already left Sony, but he was a humongous part of that whole Latin movement when, Ricky Martin, Mark Anthony, Gloria Estefan, Shakira,
Mhm.
that whole movement, even Enrique Iglesias. But Enrique was with another label at the time, but it was during that era that he was a humongous part of.
Wow.
So just knowing that he wanted to sign me was like, wow,
That's cool. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it was really, really cool to experience the battle between certain labels trying to sign me. And this is the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. I was probably 24 years old. I was 23, 24 years old already, going in, with
Wow.
experiencing a whole nother level I guess of success, you would say, right?
Absolutely. And and your music was successful. I mean, you've been on Billboard multiple times, even nominated for a Grammy. And one of the things that I think that I really always loved about your voice and your music was just how smooth it sounded. And you really did. It's crazy how like you just had that ability to cross over into different genres. Because when I hear you singing pop, like when I heard you singing pop, I'm like, this is a pop singer. Like this
Yeah,
guy he's the business. But yet your skills are so diverse, and you've been recognized in so many different diverse genres as well, which
yeah.
I think is a credit to you as an artist. Like,
Thank
honestly,
you. I appreciate that. I've always, I guess, because being raised in a house where, from Spanish music to pop music to R&B music to oldies to, I mean, you name it, all across the board, it influenced me in so many different ways.
right.
So whenever I sit in the studio and I write, or I'm thinking about, recording a song, I don't like it's amazing how my mind just goes berserk with everything that I'm working on. Like it's like R&B here, pop here, some Spanish here, some a little bit of an oldies feel here, and it's incredible, man. And it's a blessing to be able to be inspired by all these genres, because you're not just putting yourself in a box, you're expanding. and,
Yes.
and I think that's what's helped me throughout my career and in my songwriting and co-writing with other, great songwriters, and working with, some really, really amazing producers. So it's helped me a lot being bilingual as well, doing the English and the Spanish. Man, because I think doing music that was considered urban, and for being Latino and doing Spanish and English, there was nobody really doing that at the time when I came out. This was back in 03. Well, Don't Want to Try came out in 02, towards the end of 02. And I remember doing a Spanish version of that song, and people didn't know what my um, ethnicity was. They're like, "Well, what is he?" And I remember radio stations asking, like, "We've never heard this kid before. Who is this kid?" Because when I was in the Cumbia Kings, people knew me as the Cisco kid, right? Cisco.
Right.
And when I ventured off into doing the solo career, I changed my name to Frankie J. And people kept asking me, like, "Why Frankie J? Like, why?" And I was like, "Well, my name is Francisco.
So that makes
Middle name."
sense.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense to call me Frankie, and that's what my peers called me when I was a kid. They were like, "Ah, Frankie this, Frankie that," So,
Yeah.
and I chose the middle initial J because it's my middle name, Javier. So when I came out as a solo artist, everybody was like, "Well, who's this kid? Where's he from?" And he sounds like very different than the rest. And so when they found out that I was Mexicano, they were like, "What? This kid, this kid's Mexican?" And so I thought it was cool when I think it's a cool thing when people ask, "What is he?" You know,
Yeah.
so it just goes to show you that music is universal, and
Absolutely.
it doesn't just stand in one place. It's everywhere. And so yeah, I think that's what's helped me a lot in my career, the fact that I've been able to utilize both the English and the Spanish with the urban stuff and the pop stuff, and
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, yeah, you definitely were one of the trailblazers. I know that I don't know too much. I remember the group that was called where they was called, they're probably still available out there. Chino y Nacho, right? So there,
yeah.
I see them combining it all the time, but I'm like, but you did it first.
Right, there you go. It's the thing is, there's always controversy between that, because they're like, well, who, I don't want to say maybe I did it first, but I was one of the guys that kind of
One
put
of
it
the
out there.
pioneers.
Yeah, more than anything, like exposed it more and more to the world, and with on the urban side, because in 2002, when Don't Want to Try came out as a ballad, like an R&B pop ballad, really you weren't really hearing that on the radio. And then once that record came out, that's when people started mixing it more and more on the urban side.
There you go. Yeah.
And argue it, deny it, whatever you want to say, it doesn't matter, because what's there is there. And
Yeah, yeah.
and I think it's a really cool thing to really look back on, because I've had a lot of people come up to me and say like, wow, like you actually were one of the originals to kick that off with on the urban side, with as far as singers, as
Yes,
far as singers go.
yes.
And there's other people that have done it before. Of course, can't forget Mellow Mayonnaise, can't forget a group called the Barrio Boys back in the days. And but yeah, this was a time where you weren't really hearing it too much on the radio. And then when that song came out, it just exploded, and it catapulted into Sugar Sugar. And then I did Obsession, and then we did the
Yes,
remake of More Than Words. And then I started working with other producers, on the R&B world, with like Brian Michael Cox, Mario Winans. We even did Matt, work with Matty Fresh, work with Slim from 112. We had records with, I mean, so many
so
people.
many, right?
Yes, I mean,
So
you
many.
go from not Busy Bone, but Crazy Bone and Lazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. I mean, I have a record with these guys, and it's some legendary, stuff. Um,
Absolutely.
so it's definitely all over the place.
Yeah, but that again, that just speaks to just your diversity as an artist and really your marketability as well. I remember one of the songs that came out, and I just found this out for you before the interview because I didn't know. Your
Uh-huh.
song "Promise" I see was released in
Really?
2016, but
Hmm.
it was leaked in 2009, and
Right.
that's when I heard it. So can you tell us a little
Right.
about that experience?
Well, that was when the whole leaking stuff was really big. Hard drives are being hacked into, and who knows who. I don't know who was doing all that stuff, but there was a lot of other artists that were that got hacked into their hard drives. But 88 songs of mine were released leaked that
Wow.
I had no idea how in the world they came out, and a lot of these songs were unfinished, production wise and writing wise. They were just simply demos
Right.
that I had in a hard drive. And we had songs that were meant for other projects of mine, songs that were already complete, that were ready to go, but we were not trying to release them at that moment. And Promise was one of those songs. I Promise You was one of those songs. And it just it started exploding all over the internet. By the time 2016 came around, I decided to do a music video to it, due to the fact that it had over 40 million views with all these separate accounts that were on YouTube. And a friend of mine was telling me, like, you need to figure out how to monetize from all these millions of views, because somebody's getting paid, somebody's getting the money, and you're not. So
Mhm.
I couldn't figure it out, and maybe it was a big mistake of mine, but I decided to search for all of the accounts and go on YouTube and basically like do the copyright infringement
Good for
thing.
you. Good for you.
And every single account came down. And I mean, there's still probably a few out there, but not with many views. But yeah, I kind of started over with the song. But it's crazy how it's one of the most requested songs of mine whenever I perform live, or even when someone is getting married, they want me to sing it at their wedding. So it's either way, it was a blessing at the same time. But yeah, it's incredible how that song really touches people.
That's my jam right there, brother. That is my jam right there. Now, when I'm in the shower and I'm singing and nobody else hear me, I sound just like you. That's the only time. You should see me, especially when you hit that high note. I'd be like,
Yeah, yeah. And you get that reverb in that bathroom, right?
man, it's
That's what's
amazing.
up.
You got skills, bro. That's all I gotta say. You have skills. So I,
Thank you.
I guess like my next question is, and I know that especially being in music and being in an industry that it requires so much work, so much effort. We
Yeah.
have moments that are, I guess you can say, moments of truths, moments where we're like, I've grown from this, and then also moments where we're like, maybe I didn't grow from this. Are there any moments in your career where you feel like it was just such an amazing moment that you truly felt that as a person, as a man, as an artist, in all capacities, that it helped you to grow and keep going?
Oh man, there's been several moments that have kept me growing that I realized, wow, like I need to just sit back and let the people work. I mean, I think when you have a team that is so willing to go out there and kill for you, you should let them just do what they do, and you sit back, be an artist, be a writer, be a producer, and let everybody else do their job. I think I've learned not to dip in too many different um how do you say it, like I guess and not to dip my hand in too many jars, right?
Right.
It's sometimes it's better just to kind of lay back, do what you do best, which is sing, right? Just sing, write, record, produce, do whatever in the studio, and let whoever is going out there, to spread the word about you, to do that, to do just that. Don't try to dictate everything that they're doing, or tell them what to do. I think I've learned that in a major way in my career, is just to allow people to do the best that they can on their own, and not try to come in between that. I think it's because you could lose a lot of opportunities that way, and it's sometimes better just to you know let it let them do their work,
I
because
get it. I
it's
get it.
yeah, man. I mean, you get so excited, and you're so young. I think for me, I speak for myself. I was so young and so excited, so full of energy, that I wanted to be in everything, and I think it's cool to know everything that is going on, obviously, in your career, but it's also a good thing to lay back and watch everybody work and do
Yeah.
what they do,
Yeah.
best. So I think that's something that I've learned throughout my years of being in this industry. um, and just stay humble, you know,
Yeah.
stay humble and be grateful for everything that is going on, because you never know when it can go away.
That's
You
true.
could be here one day, you could be gone the next.
Hmm.
And you just got to stay humble, remain with both your feet on the floor, on the ground, but stay with the same hunger as well, and not go I guess crazy with oh, I got all this, I got all that, you know what I mean? It's
And
more
be
than
yeah,
anything.
and be like comfortable and then not try to do.
Correct.
I
Yeah,
get
like
it.
stay hungry at the same time,
Stay humble and hungry. I like that.
Yep.
I like that.
That's
I
it.
like that.
Yeah, man. That's it.
Frankie, I think one of the things that I think a lot of people are going to take away from this interview is, I mean, not only the tremendous talent that you are, that not, and I say that you are because you are extremely talented in so many ways. But I think what people are going to take away from this is it's just the fact that you've remained humble, and and I can say that. I know you wouldn't say that, but I can say that from the outside looking in. But that also that you've taken your life experiences and you've used them to grow as a person, as a man. And I think that's so important for us as individuals, no matter what we experience in life, whether it be good or bad, that we take those lessons and then we use them to kind of grow and to push forward. And that's what you've done.
I think it's important to take every experience that you've had in your life, um, to grow, because then what's the point of living it? You got
Mm,
to go through it so that you're able to understand um, every aspect of your situation that you're going through. So it's important, man. I mean, you have to grow in this business. You have to grow, not just grow as far as success, but maturity is a big thing too.
absolutely.
Knowing how to deal with certain situations, within the business, and know your place. Know your place, know when to talk, know when to just shut up and just listen, you know. As it says in the Bible, be slow to speak and quick to listen, right?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And that's something that is oh my goodness, man, it's been engraved in my mind and in my heart, because it's so true. I think it's one of the best things to learn, you know, from especially in, I think, in any industry, right, in any business.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you know,
Absolutely.
just try to be a little fly on the wall sometimes and just kind of listen.
There you go. There you go. So 2021 is right around the corner. Any plans? Any with music? Any?
Yeah. Well, I'm working on a new album right now. It's entitled Back to Us. And the reason why I'm calling it Back to Us, it has a meaning of so many things. You know, Back to Us is going back to, obviously for me, the where I where I started, you know, from, with that pop R&B sound. Back to Us is also referring to, you know, back to my family, you know, back to love as well. Uh, Also giving back to the fans, the people that have supported me since day one, that has always received me with their arms wide open and have given me so much love and support throughout the years. So this album is going back to the root of where
Hmm,
it all started.
wow.
And excuse me, and I'm working with some really really dope people, man, and I'm excited about the project because now I'm not just, you know, picking everybody that I'm dealing with and I'm working with, but I'm also producing the majority of this album. And I'm working with someone that is very special to me, that means the world to me, my son. My son is
Oh,
20 years old, and he's always been, um, you know, with this dream that he wants to be a producer. So, you know, I've taught him, you know, some of the things that I know, and he's just gone and probably already exceeded my expectations with when it comes to this music thing. Like, he loves music so much, and he has these amazing ideas that whenever he comes into the studio, he wows me every time that he works on something. So I'm bringing him on board to co-produce some of these songs with me, if not maybe just produce maybe by himself. Which brings me to this: he actually produced, along with me, this first single called With You, which is
hmm,
featuring Rasby from B2K
okay. I remember him.
and featuring Paul Wall. Um, so we have this song that we're actually already working on the music video. We're gonna film it on the 17th, which is Thursday. And so, you know, we're gonna be shooting it in two places. Paul Wall's gonna be in Houston. Me and Raspberry are gonna be in LA. So we're gonna be doing, you know, multiple, trying to, you know, work um, in multiple cities
Nice.
and kind of come up with something really really cool. So, and my good friend Concrete is the director of the video. So the album, I mean, it has features like Baby Bash, which is of course my brother. We've had much success together, and you know, it's such a dope amazing person. And it's always a blessing to work with Bash. And right now, I'm planning, hoping, praying that I get John B also on this project, and
Okay.
I'm trying to get Slim from 112 on this project. And so, yeah, man, I mean,
That would
it's
be nice.
incredible.
That would be
It-
nice.
yeah, I mean, you know, we've worked already. You know, John B and I have worked already in the past. Slim from 112 and I have already worked in the past. So I want to bring all my friends into this project and be to get involved, and be a part of this, you know, new project that I'm working on, and you know, hoping that the people will enjoy it, they will love it. And I've been getting a lot of positive feedback on my social medias from the fans. Are like, we can't wait, we're excited that you're, you know, working with, you know, all these different features. and amazing artists, it's time for you to come back into this R&B pop world. So I was like, all right, let's go. I'm excited, man.
Well, that's actually super exciting. That's some really, really good news. And knowing it's from you, it's going to be amazing already. So, and then some of the artists you're working with, I remember some of them back in the days too, and their
Yeah.
vocals. Let's go. I'm intrigued, man.
I
I'm
love
intrigued.
the fact that they're all different styles,
Yeah.
different. John B has his vibe, Slim, from 112 has his vibe and feel. Rasby, this is his first time actually singing a lead in a record.
Okay.
So I'm glad that this is happening, and it's actually both of us singing together on this record. Once you hear it, man, you're gonna fall in love with this record because it's so going back to the late '90s, early 2000s R&B.
Yes. I
And,
mean, where has that gone?
man,
Yes.
man, when Paul Wall comes in on that third verse, forget it. It's over. It's a wrap. He's the icing on the cake on this record. So it's gonna be nice, man. I'm super excited, and I'm kind of utilizing some of the Spanish also
Okay.
on my verse
All right. All
to
right.
bring in that whole English Spanish vibe with that
Oh, I love
R&B
it.
sound.
I
Oh
love
man, you're gonna love it, bro. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it.
it.
It's
Oh
crazy.
man. That's
So
exciting, bro. That sounds super exciting. Well, you definitely have to keep us abreast of everything that's going on with that. Especially when it drops.
yes,
Definitely let
sir.
us. I publish about 10 different magazines nationally,
Oh wow.
so we will put it out everywhere.
Let's go.
Let everybody know. You know,
Literally.
Frankie J is back. He ain't nowhere, but he's back and pop. So
It's
man,
time.
yes, sir. It is definitely time. And I want to thank you so much for taking your time to be here with me and bless me with your interview and your stories, your experiences. I've learned something as a man listening to you that I feel like I can take into my life. I love what you said about slowing down and allowing people to work and embrace what they do and utilizing the moments that we have in our life and just taking advantage of them, whether good or bad, and like you said, growing from that. So there's so much takeaway from this. It's absolutely inspiring, and I knew it was going to be. So
I'm glad it worked, man. I'm glad it worked. And thank you again for allowing me to, to be here with you for the interview. And it's always cool to talk about these things because, I think, there's always people that might know that might not know of your story, and it's cool to tell it, and get people involved in your story and let people know your strives, your struggles, and your triumphs. So these kinds of interviews for me are fun. They're super fun. So thank you.
well, no, we had a blast here, man. Thank you so much again for being on. You guys, this is Frankie J. You're gonna see all his information in the video that you see. Just kind of look around, and then after the end of the show, we're gonna also direct you all to all of his social media. Frankie J. Again, thank you for taking the time to be here with us. If you need anything, and I mean anything, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out. We got you, brother. We got you.
Much love, Joseph. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And much love to the fans who are watching. Thank you for all the love and support throughout the years. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to do this. And once again, stay tuned because Back to Us is coming back.